Welcome, curious minds, to a journey into the intricate dance of human pride, the silent strength of humility, and the profound consequences that ripple through our lives when these forces collide. Today, we're unraveling a story that, at first glance, might seem like a dramatic twist from a movie script, but beneath its surface, it holds universal truths about character, respect, and the often hidden costs of arrogance. It's a narrative that forces us to ask, what do we truly value? And what kind of person are we when we believe no one important is watching? Stick with us, because the lessons embedded in this tale are not just for the characters within it, but for every single one of us navigating the complexities of our own worlds. Imagine a world where appearances reign supreme, where titles and wealth often overshadow true character. Now picture the glittering lobby of Coltech Tower, a monument to corporate power and ambition. This isn't just a building, it's a stage where dreams are made, and sometimes where harsh realities are unveiled. In this environment, we meet Vanessa Cole, a woman whose name, by her own assertion, commands respect. She is the head of marketing, a formidable presence, and crucially, the fiancée of the company's billionaire CEO, Ethan Cole. To Vanessa, the world is a hierarchy, and she stands firmly at its apex, believing that her status grants her the right to dictate, to judge, and to dismiss anyone she perceives as lesser. Her footsteps are not just steps, they are declarations, echoing sharply across the polished marble, announcing her arrival, demanding attention, and implicitly demanding deference. But beneath this veneer of power, a silent yet seismic test is about to begin. A test not orchestrated by corporate strategists or market analysts, but by a mother. A mother who, with an intuition sharper than any algorithm, senses a dissonance in her son's chosen partner. Evelyn Cole, Ethan's mother, embodies a wisdom born not of boardrooms and balance sheets, but of life's raw experiences, sacrifices, and a deep, unconditional love for her son. She's heard whispers, anecdotes painting a portrait of Vanessa that clashes fundamentally with the values Evelyn holds dear. Stories of arrogance, a sharp tongue, and a glaring lack of basic human respect. Instead of confronting these rumors directly, Evelyn chooses a different path, one that is both courageous and profoundly insightful. She decides to see for herself. She borrows a cleaner's uniform, dons a simple headscarf, and walks into the opulent Coltech Tower, not as the mother of its CEO, but as an invisible worker, a silent observer. Her goal is not to spy, but to witness Vanessa's unvarnished truth, to understand the character of the woman who intends to become her son's wife, and potentially the mother of his children. The stage is set for an encounter that will shake not just the tower, but the very foundations of truth and perception for everyone involved. What Evelyn is about to discover, and what we are about to witness, transcends a simple act of rudeness. It becomes a vivid illustration of how easily power can corrupt, how fragile respect can be, and how profoundly our actions, especially towards those we deem inconsequential, define who we truly are. This isn't just a story about a mistaken identity, it's a deep dive into the human condition, a stark reminder that true wealth lies not in what we possess, but in the richness of our character. The incident unfolds with a chilling precision, painting a stark picture of Vanessa's character. The sharp click of her heels slices through the hum of the air conditioning, a percussive prelude to her impending outburst. Her voice, cutting and imperious, snaps through the air. "Are you blind?" This isn't just a question, it's an accusation, a dismissal, an immediate assertion of dominance. Heads swivel, conversations halt, and employees freeze, their instincts telling them to become invisible, to escape the line of fire. It's a scene many of us have unfortunately witnessed in various forms: the public shaming, the instantaneous silence that descends when an authority figure unleashes their wrath, creating a palpable tension that chokes the air. The room goes silent, a suffocating quiet broken only by the mechanical whisper of the cooling system. Vanessa stands tall, immaculate in her fitted white shirt and black trousers, a tableau of corporate power. Her dark sunglasses, reflecting the bright lights, serve as both a shield and a magnifying glass, amplifying her already impenetrable expression. At her feet, a slow-moving puddle of soapy water from a cleaning mishap stretches across the gleaming marble floor, threatening to touch her expensive designer heels. It's a minor inconvenience, a trivial accident in the grand scheme of things, but to Vanessa, it's an unforgivable affront. The elderly cleaner, Evelyn in disguise, is already bent low, her movements careful, almost deferential, as she attempts to mop up the spill. Her voice, trembling with genuine regret, offers a humble apology. "Ah, madam, sorry, it will not happen again." But humility is a currency Vanessa doesn't seem to recognize, or perhaps actively devalues. Her anger only intensifies. She takes a slow, deliberate step forward, the click of her heels a relentless drumbeat against the silence. She tilts her head, looking down at Evelyn with an expression of pure disdain, as if the very sight of the cleaner is an offense to her sensibilities. Her question, sharp and venomous, rips through the tense air. "Do you know how much these shoes cost? Or do you think everyone here is as poor and dirty as you?" This is where the narrative pivots from mere rudeness to outright cruelty. This isn't just about a spilled puddle. It's about class, perceived status, and a brutal devaluing of another human being. The gasps from the far end of the lobby are audible, a collective intake of breath from witnesses momentarily shocked out of their frozen postures. Workers exchange nervous glances, torn between their moral compass and the instinct for self-preservation in the face of Vanessa's power. Even the security guard, typically a figure of authority, shifts uncomfortably, paralyzed by fear of Vanessa's formidable reputation. Evelyn, the cleaner, continues her task, her voice calm amidst the storm, a quiet plea. "Please, madam, it was a mistake." But Vanessa is beyond reason, beyond empathy. "Shut up," she barks, her voice laced with venom. "Don't talk back to me. Your job is to clean, not to splash people with dirty water." This command is more than just an order. It's an attempt to erase Evelyn's humanity, to reduce her to a function, to strip her of any right to speak or even defend herself. For a brief, telling moment, Evelyn pauses. She lifts her head, meeting Vanessa's eyes. And in that exchange, there's no anger in Evelyn's gaze, no defiance, only a profound calmness, a quiet strength born from years of enduring burdens, of navigating life's harsh realities with dignity. It's a look that speaks of a different kind of power, one that Vanessa, in her limited worldview, cannot comprehend. Evelyn then lowers her head, resuming her task with the same steady, deliberate movements. But this quiet resilience, this serene dignity, only seems to fuel Vanessa's fury. Her jaw tightens, a silent precursor to the unthinkable. Then, without warning, she steps forward and delivers a hard kick to Evelyn's side. The rag slips from Evelyn's hand. The bucket tips, spilling more soapy water across the marble, mirroring the chaos Vanessa has unleashed. Evelyn gasps softly, clutching her waist, her breathing heavy, but she struggles, refusing to fall, refusing to break. The entire lobby freezes, an almost theatrical tableau of shock. The receptionist's fingers hover over the keyboard, suspended in disbelief. Someone near the elevator covers their mouth, muffling a gasp of horror. For a few agonizing seconds, no one moves, no one speaks. The silence is deafening, punctuated only by the ragged sound of Evelyn's breathing. Vanessa, completely unfazed, adjusts her sunglasses with a casual flick of her hand, a gesture of almost theatrical nonchalance. Her voice, now a chilling hiss, cuts through the stillness. "Next time, watch where you put your dirty water." With that, she turns, her long strides echoing loudly, and walks towards the elevator. The steel doors slide open, and she steps inside without a backward glance, leaving behind a profound silence, a shattered dignity, and a lingering question. How could someone be so utterly devoid of empathy? The doors close, sealing her away, but the scene she left behind continues to unfold. Evelyn, the supposed cleaner, slowly straightens, pressing her hand against her waist for support. Yet, her face remains calm, almost expressionless. There are no tears, no shouts of anger, no visible signs of insult on her lips. She simply bends down, picks up the fallen rag and bucket, and quietly resumes wiping the floor, moving with the same steady dignity she had displayed moments before. It's a testament to her inner strength, a silent refusal to be broken by an act of casual cruelty. But the observers in the lobby, caught in the web of appearances, are unaware of the profound truth. This woman is not just a regular cleaner. In fact, she doesn't work here at all. She is Evelyn Cole, mother of billionaire tech CEO Ethan Cole, and she had come that morning with a singular, resolute purpose: to uncover the true character of her son's fiancée. She had heard the troubling whispers about Vanessa's arrogance, her sharp tongue, her lack of respect for others. She needed to see it with her own eyes. Now, she had seen enough. As she calmly exits the building, bucket in hand, her heart is heavy, but her resolve is unshakable. Her son, Ethan, is upstairs, completely oblivious that the woman he loves, the woman he plans to marry, has just publicly humiliated and physically assaulted his own mother. To Ethan, Vanessa is beautiful, ambitious, and perfect, a dazzling reflection of his own success. But Evelyn, now armed with first-hand knowledge, knows better. Upstairs in her pristine office, Vanessa is already recounting the incident to her friend Sophie, her voice alight with amusement. "Can you believe it? Some dirty cleaner ruined my morning. These people don't know their place." She leans back, crossing her legs, a picture of self-satisfaction. In her mind, the petty scene in the lobby is already relegated to the dustbin of forgotten annoyances. She is utterly blind to the magnitude of her actions, unaware that she has just insulted the most important woman in her fiancé's life, and that her carelessness has set in motion a chain of events powerful enough to shake the very ground beneath her carefully constructed world. Evelyn Cole is not a woman to be ignored, and the true test has only just begun. This opening segment forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about power dynamics and the human tendency to dismiss those we perceive as beneath us. Vanessa's behavior is not merely a lapse in judgment. It's a deeply ingrained pattern, a symptom of a worldview that equates worth with status and financial standing. Her arrogance is a shield, perhaps, against her own insecurities, or simply a manifestation of unchecked privilege. The silent witnesses in the lobby represent the often paralyzing fear that permeates environments where power is wielded ruthlessly. Their inaction, while understandable from a self-preservation standpoint, highlights the collective silence that allows such behavior to persist. Evelyn's disguise is a brilliant narrative device, transforming a simple act of rudeness into a profound moral test. It's a reminder that true character is revealed not when the spotlight is on, but in the quiet, unobserved moments, and especially in how we treat those who can seemingly do nothing for us. This initial encounter isn't just a scene, it's a thesis statement for the entire story, setting the stage for a dramatic unraveling of lies, self-deception, and the ultimate triumph of genuine character. The narrative deepens, delving into the psychological roots of Vanessa's arrogance, painting a more complete picture of the woman who believes the world owes her respect. The morning after the lobby incident, she stands before her mirror, meticulously applying red lipstick, adjusting her hair, a picture of outward perfection. Her smile, to any casual observer, is that of a woman who has everything: beauty, wealth, power. Yet, beneath this polished exterior, a fire burns, a fierce, protective flame fueled by years of experience, a relentless drive to never again feel small or insignificant. At Coltec Tower, Vanessa isn't merely a manager, she is the Vanessa Cole, a title she wears like a crown. As head of marketing and the fiancée of the billionaire CEO, she inhabits a world where her heels announce her arrival, her voice barks orders, and her corrections are delivered loudly, publicly, leaving no doubt about her authority and her intolerance for perceived weakness. Junior staff whisper about her sharp tongue, some fearing her, others harboring a secret resentment. But no one dares to confront her, for her connections, they believe, reach the very top, granting her an untouchable status. This ingrained arrogance, however, didn't materialize overnight. It has roots, stretching back years to a pivotal relationship with Marcus Grant, a gentle architect who saw her beauty, but perhaps overlooked the warnings of friends who cautioned him about her growing pride. For a time, Marcus tried to love her through her sharp edges, enduring her dismissive treatment of waiters, her eye-rolling at taxi drivers, her mocking of those who didn't meet her exacting standards of dress and decorum. He saw past the exterior, hoping to nurture a kinder heart beneath. But one evening at a wedding, Vanessa crossed a line that Marcus could not ignore. Spotting a bridesmaid in a simple dress, Vanessa sneered loudly enough for half the room to hear, "Can you imagine showing up to a wedding dress like that? She looks like she bought it from the roadside." The laughter from nearby guests, though not directed at Marcus, stung deeper than the words themselves. His face flushed with shame and embarrassment for the woman he loved. On the silent drive home, the tension was palpable until Marcus finally broke it. His voice, calm but resolute, carried the weight of a difficult decision. "Vanessa, I love you, but I can't do this anymore. You don't treat people well, and I can't build a life with someone who thinks kindness is weakness." Vanessa's bitter laugh, a brittle sound devoid of genuine amusement, was her defense mechanism. "So, you're breaking up with me because I told the truth? Fine. Go find someone soft enough to handle your boring life." The next day, Marcus returned her belongings and walked away forever. The breakup undoubtedly inflicted pain, but Vanessa, in her characteristic fashion, buried it under layers of pride. She rationalized Marcus's departure, convincing herself he was weak, too sensitive, incapable of handling a strong woman like her. This narrative became her truth, repeated until it solidified into an unshakable belief. But deep inside, a seed of anger had taken root, a fierce promise to herself. She would never again allow anyone to make her feel small, to challenge her perceived strength. Now she has Ethan, handsome, wealthy, admired. With him, she has ascended to a higher echelon than ever before, and this time she vows she will not lose. Yet even in Vanessa's carefully constructed world of control, cracks begin to appear. Her best friend, Sophie Adams, often attempts to offer gentle counsel. "Vanessa, you don't always have to shout," Sophie would suggest during their brunch outings, a quiet plea for softer edges. Vanessa, ever dismissive, would wave a hand, cutting off the advice. "People only respect strength, Sophie. If I don't keep them in line, they'll walk all over me." Sophie, perhaps out of loyalty or fear, never pushes too hard. She has witnessed the consequences of challenging Vanessa. Friendships ending abruptly, numbers blocked, photos deleted, memories erased from Vanessa's curated social sphere. At work, Vanessa's tyrannical pattern continues unabated. A minor error in a report is met with a public dissection. An office cleaner crossing her path is waved away as if invisible, their names never once remembered. In Vanessa's mind, this is leadership. To her staff, it is tyranny. She remains convinced of her untouchability, fortified by Ethan, by her power, by her wealth. What, she wonders, could possibly shake her throne? What Vanessa doesn't know, however, is that the threads of her carefully woven illusion are already being pulled. Down in her modest home across town, Evelyn Cole sits quietly, a small diary open before her. The pages are filled with neat, precise handwriting, a meticulous record of the day's events. Vanessa shouted in lobby, called cleaner, poor, and dirty, kicked me in front of staff. She writes slowly, deliberately, recording every detail. Evelyn isn't merely reacting to her humiliation. She is building a record, a dossier of undeniable proof. She knows her son's heart, knows that Ethan, blinded by love, might defend Vanessa if confronted with mere accusations. But proof, cold, hard, documented proof, is undeniable. Evelyn's hand pauses on the page, her thoughts drifting back to her own struggles, selling fruits in the market after her husband's death, carrying baskets heavier than her own body, sewing clothes late into the night just to afford Ethan's school fees. She remembers the times she went without food so her son could eat, so he could have a chance at a better life. A quiet whisper escapes her lips. He deserves better. This whisper isn't fueled by anger or bitterness, but by a profound love, the kind of love that sacrifices quietly, endures patiently, and protects fiercely. Back at the tower, Vanessa's day continues as usual. She shouts at a secretary, snaps at a junior staff member, rolls her eyes at HR. To her, it's just another Tuesday. To everyone else, it's another chilling reminder of who she truly is. And to Evelyn, it's another page, another entry in her growing diary, each detail tightening the noose around Vanessa's self-deception. The stakes are undeniably rising. Vanessa believes she is winning, consolidating her power. But Evelyn, with her quiet wisdom, knows the truth. The higher a person climbs on the precarious ladder of pride, the harder and more devastating the fall when humility finally arrives. That night, Ethan calls his mother, his voice warm and full of excitement. "Mama, I can't wait for you to spend more time with Vanessa. She's amazing." Evelyn forces a smile into her voice, a practiced performance masking the turmoil within. "My son, I want the best for you." When she hangs up, the forced smile vanishes, replaced by a serious, resolute expression. She looks at the diary on her table and whispers, "It's only the beginning." The game, a profound test of character and truth, has indeed begun. Vanessa remains blissfully unaware, but every move she makes is being watched, recorded, and soon the truth will come crashing down, inescapable and undeniable. This segment provides critical backstory and psychological depth to Vanessa's character, making her more than a one-dimensional villain. Her past relationship with Marcus highlights a pattern of behavior and a defensive mechanism against perceived weakness. The contrast between her public persona and her private history is key. Evelyn's silent, methodical approach, documented in her diary, is brilliant. It underscores the idea that true wisdom often lies in observation and patience, rather than immediate confrontation. The concept of proof becomes central to how truth will ultimately be revealed to Ethan, who, like many, is susceptible to the blinding power of love. The subtle foreshadowing of Vanessa's impending fall and the comparison of pride to a precarious climb reinforces the story's core moral lesson. As the narrative continues, the tension builds, not through overt conflict, but through the quiet, meticulous gathering of evidence and the stark contrast in character between Evelyn and Vanessa. The night after the initial lobby incident, Evelyn Cole sits in her humble living room, the slow turn of the ceiling fan a gentle counterpoint to the weight of her thoughts. Her diary lies open, its pages bearing the fresh, stark entry. "Vanessa shouted, called me poor, kicked me in front of her staff." Her eyes linger on these simple words, which, though plain, carry the sharp sting of humiliation and the deep concern of a mother. She closes her eyes, retreating into memories of her son, Ethan, as a boy. Small, thin, clinging to her hand as she navigated the bustling market, laden with baskets of oranges. She recalls the agony of his fever when medicine was a luxury she couldn't afford, And years later, his solemn promise by her bedside, "Mama, one day I will give you the life you deserve." That promise had indeed come true. Ethan had risen to become one of the most powerful men in the city, a testament to his ambition and her sacrifices. But now, Evelyn fears he is on the precipice of making the biggest mistake of his life. Her whispered words fill the empty room, a lament and a resolve. "My son, you cannot see what I have seen." This internal monologue reveals the depth of Evelyn's love and the painful burden of her knowledge. She cannot simply tell Ethan. He must see the truth for himself without the filter of his affection for Vanessa. Across town, in the opulent setting of a fancy restaurant, Vanessa Cole's laughter rings out, filling the space with her boisterous presence. She sits with Sophie Adams, swirling wine in a tall glass, oblivious to the annoyed glances from nearby tables. Her pride swells as she recounts the morning's events, twisting the cruelty into a tale of her own assertiveness. "You should have seen that cleaner's face," Vanessa boasts, a triumphant smirk playing on her lips. "She looked like a beaten dog. I kicked her so hard the bucket almost spilled across the lobby." Sophie's smile falters, a flicker of discomfort crossing her face. She leans closer, lowering her voice, a silent plea for discretion. "Vanessa, don't say that here. What if someone overhears?" But Vanessa, cocooned in her bubble of self-importance, dismisses the concern with a wave of her hand. "Overhears what? That I told the truth? Please, Sophie, don't be naive. Cleaners, guards, waiters, people like that don't matter. They exist to serve people like us." And this declaration is chilling in its casual cruelty, laying bare Vanessa's profound contempt for anyone outside her perceived social stratum. It's a classic example of how unchecked privilege can warp one's perception of shared humanity. Sophie shakes her head slowly, a quiet warning in her voice. "Be careful, Vanessa. Ethan might not see things the way you do." But Vanessa, utterly convinced of her hold over Ethan, simply smirks. "Ethan worships me. He knows I deserve the best. He'd never believe gossip about me. Not when he's the one buying my diamonds." Her words drip with pride, a potent cocktail of insecurity and self-aggrandizement. Sophie falls silent, a growing weariness settling over her. She has known Vanessa for years, but this escalating arrogance, this relentless dismissal of others, is becoming unbearable, even for a loyal friend. That same night, Evelyn sits at her window, the diary now closed, its contents a quiet testament to her unwavering purpose. Outside, children run along the street, their laughter carrying on the breeze as they kick a plastic ball. The sound transports her back to Ethan's childhood, a poignant memory of him playing barefoot in the dust, his clothes torn but his spirit unbroken. She had sacrificed everything for him, even meals, to ensure he had a better future. Watching those children, she clenches her jaw, a fresh wave of resolve washing over her. "I will not let a proud woman destroy the boy I raised with my blood and sweat." Her plan sharpens in her mind. Vanessa would not be revealed through mere arguments or accusations. Proud people, Evelyn knows, wear masks, adapting their behavior when it suits them, when important eyes are watching. No, Evelyn would test her again in ways Vanessa could not hide, in scenarios where her true character would inevitably shine through. And when Ethan finally saw the truth, it would be with his own eyes, a revelation so undeniable that no amount of love could blind him to it. Evelyn's wisdom is evident here. She understands that true change, or true revelation, comes from within, often spurred by undeniable first-hand experience. The next morning, Vanessa arrives at Coltec Tower with her usual flair, her heels clicking like a relentless countdown. She scolds her secretary for a misfiled document, ridicules a junior staff member for a minor spelling mistake, and breezes past the security guard as if he were an invisible fixture. To her, it is simply business as usual, another day of asserting her dominance, maintaining her standards. But what Vanessa does not know is that Evelyn has returned to the building. Once again, she is dressed in the humble green cleaner's uniform, moving silently, mop and bucket in hand, a ghost in plain sight. She keeps her head low, but her eyes are wide open, observing. She witnesses Vanessa's eye rolls at staff, hears her loud sighs of impatience over delayed printouts, and sees her mock an intern for stuttering during a meeting. Evelyn does not interfere. She only observes, storing every detail, every slight, like carefully aimed arrows in a quiver. Near the photocopy machine, two employees whisper, their voices low but charged with resentment. "One day she'll insult the wrong person," one says, a prediction hanging heavy in the air. "And that day she'll regret it," the other replies, a shared hope for justice. Evelyn's lips press into a thin, knowing smile. They don't know it yet, but that day is already on its way, closer than they could ever imagine. That evening, Ethan stops by his mother's modest home, carrying roasted plantains wrapped in foil, a warm, familiar smile on his face. "Mama, I know you've been busy. I brought your favorite." Evelyn's face softens at the sight of him. He is tall now, confident, respected by many. But to her, he remains the boy who once promised to change her life. They eat together, and Ethan's voice is light, filled with the intoxicating optimism of love. "Mama, Vanessa is everything I ever wanted. She's beautiful, smart, ambitious. I know you'll love her when you spend more time together." Evelyn looks at her son carefully, the truth burning on her tongue. She longs to shout it into his ears, to rip off Vanessa's mask immediately. But she holds her tongue, understanding that if she pushes too soon, he will only defend Vanessa, perhaps even resent his mother for challenging his judgment. Instead, she speaks gently, her words carrying the weight of deep wisdom, a subtle warning. "Ethan, remember this. A proud woman does not only hurt her enemies, she hurts her husband too. Pride in a marriage is like fire. It burns everything in its path." Ethan frowns, puzzled by the abstract warning. "Mama, are you warning me about Vanessa?" Evelyn forces a smile, her eyes conveying more than her lips. "I am only telling you to keep your eyes open. Love can blind even the wisest man." It's a timeless caution, a mother's attempt to prepare her son for a truth he is not yet ready to face directly. Later that night, after Ethan leaves, Evelyn reopens her diary. With firm strokes, she writes a single resolute line. "The mask is cracking. Soon Ethan will see." She closes the book, her decision unshakable. Vanessa Cole may believe she is untouchable, but Evelyn knows the immutable law of pride. The higher it climbs, the harder it falls. Vanessa's arrogance is indeed growing. Evelyn's plan is meticulously taking shape, and Ethan's eyes, though still closed, are slowly beginning to perceive the shadows of doubt. The collision is coming, and when it arrives, no one, especially not Ethan or Vanessa, will leave unscarred. This section masterfully builds the suspense and emotional stakes, highlighting the strategic brilliance of Evelyn's quiet, observational approach against Vanessa's overt displays of power. The contrast in their methods speaks volumes about their respective characters and sets the stage for the dramatic confrontation. The morning sun, an almost ironic symbol of clarity, bounces off the glass walls of Coltec Tower, flooding the lobby with a deceptive light. By 10:45 a.m., every detail is immaculate. Marble floors gleam, flower stands are perfectly aligned, and digital screens flash a welcoming message. "Welcome, investors." This meticulously curated environment is a reflection of Vanessa Cole's obsession with perfection, her belief that external polish can mask any internal flaws. She struts across the lobby in a fitted navy suit, her heels clicking like a relentless countdown to an important moment. Her sharp eyes scan every corner, demanding absolute adherence to her high standards. "Move those chairs closer. Wipe that glass again. Labels forward on the bottles," she barks, her tone clipped and authoritative. Staff scramble to comply, their "yes, ma'am" responses quick and nervous. Sophie Adams, clipboard in hand, attempts to keep pace, a quiet note of concern in her voice. "Vanessa, relax. It looks perfect already." But Vanessa dismisses her with a side glance, a cold glint in her eyes. Perfection is the minimum. If we fail, Ethan fails, and I don't allow failure. Her voice carries through the lobby, a chilling echo that makes junior staff stiffen and receptionists sit even straighter. This isn't just about a successful investor meeting. It's about Vanessa's personal validation, her relentless drive to maintain control and project an image of infallible competence. Moments later, security officers wheel in trays of refreshments, small chops, bottled water, steaming flasks of tea. Behind them, a vendor follows, dressed in a modest green apron and headscarf, moving calmly, balancing her tray with practiced ease. No one recognizes her. It is Evelyn Cole, fulfilling another stage of her meticulously planned test. She had chosen this day of all days, knowing that investors would be present, that Vanessa would be under pressure in her element. Evelyn wants to observe if Vanessa, in this high-stakes environment, can extend even a modicum of respect to ordinary workers. It's a true test of character, not under casual scrutiny, but when the mask of professionalism is most strained. "Set it here," Vanessa commands, pointing to a table near the main walkway, her tone impatient, almost contemptuous. The vendor obeys quietly, setting the tray down. One paper cup wobbles precariously but doesn't fall, eliciting a silent sigh of relief from Sophie. But Vanessa's eyes narrow, her irritation palpable. "Be careful. I don't want clumsy mistakes embarrassing this company." Evelyn, calm and composed, responds softly, "I will be careful, madam." Vanessa frowns at Evelyn's deliberate movements. "Faster. We don't have all day." The vendor meets her gaze briefly, her voice steady. "Speed causes mistakes." These simple words, though calm, prick Vanessa's pride, making her jaw tighten. She leans forward, her voice laced with disdain. What causes mistakes is people who don't belong here acting like they matter. This statement is not just a reprimand. It's a profound revelation of Vanessa's internal philosophy, her belief in a rigid social hierarchy where some people inherently matter more than others. Sophie's hand twitches at her side. "Vanessa," she whispers, attempting to diffuse the escalating tension. But Vanessa is already turning back to the refreshments, her irritation steadily boiling over. At 10:58, the lobby doors swing open. A tall man in a navy suit enters first. Mr. Chen, the investor's liaison. Vanessa's professional smile appears instantly, a practiced mask of charm. "Welcome to Coltech. We are honored to host you today." Mr. Chen nods, acknowledging her greeting. "Our chairman will be down shortly. He likes to see the atmosphere on the ground." Vanessa's confidence swells. Then he will see excellence. Behind her, Evelyn adjusts a stack of cups. One slips from her grip and hits the floor with a sharp clatter, the sound echoing like thunder in the tense, hushed room. It's a small accident, amplified by the pressure of the moment. Vanessa spins around, her composure shattered. "Are you blind?" she snaps, her voice rising in a fury. "Do you want to embarrass us in front of investors?" "I am sorry, madam," Evelyn says, bending to pick up the fallen cup, her demeanor still remarkably calm. But Vanessa shakes her head, disgust contorting her face. "This is why people like you should stay in your lane." Sophie grabs Vanessa's arm, a desperate plea in her voice. "Stop, people are watching." But Vanessa, consumed by her own rage and arrogance, hisses back, "I want them to watch. Let them see the nonsense I deal with every day." The receptionist freezes. Two interns exchange anxious glances, one whispering, "She's finished." The other mutters, "Not yet, but soon." Mr. Chen's expression remains unreadable, but his silence is heavy, a silent judgment hanging in the air. At 11 near sharp, the elevator chimes and the doors slide open. Two men step out, the chairman and beside him, Ethan Cole. Vanessa's smile stretches wider, a desperate attempt to regain control. "Darling, you're back early." But Ethan is not smiling. His eyes sweep across the scene. Spilled cups, a vendor kneeling on the floor, Sophie tense with worry, and Vanessa standing over the kneeling woman, her hand half raised, a tableau of aggression. "Vanessa," Ethan says slowly, his voice tinged with an unfamiliar severity. "What's happening here?" Vanessa's laugh comes too quickly, too brittle. "Oh, nothing serious, just incompetence. I was handling it." Ethan's gaze, however, bypasses Vanessa and settles on the vendor. "Madam, are you all right?" "I am fine," Evelyn answers, keeping her head low, maintaining her disguise. Vanessa steps closer to Ethan, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Don't waste time on her. We should focus on the investors." But Ethan's eyes linger on the vendor, a growing unease stirring within him. Something about her quiet dignity, her unshakable calm, unsettles him. Sophie, sensing the critical moment, whispers near his ear, "Look carefully." Vanessa tugs at his sleeve, a desperate plea in her voice. "Darling, please, let's go upstairs. Everything is ready." Ethan's jaw tightens. "Vanessa, don't touch staff again, ever." The entire lobby freezes. Vanessa blinks, her pride wounded, her voice incredulous. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," Ethan says firmly, his tone leaving no room for doubt. Sophie lets out the breath she'd been holding, a silent prayer of relief. Vanessa's smile falters, but she recovers quickly, attempting to pivot. "So now you're defending people who spilled tea?" Ethan doesn't answer. He simply looks once more at the vendor, who quietly rises to her feet. For a fleeting second, their eyes meet, and something in her gaze, a deep familiarity, tugs at Ethan's memory. The elevator chimes again, a stark reminder that time is moving forward, that this public drama is delaying important business. Mr. Chen glances at his watch, a subtle cue. The chairman clears his throat. "Shall we proceed?" he asks politely, though his eyes betray a keen curiosity. Vanessa forces a bright, brittle laugh. Of course, everything is under control. But as she leads the investors toward the boardroom, Ethan steps slow. He glances back one last time at the vendor, who stands with her bucket, calm and silent, an unassuming figure holding profound truth. His heart stirs with a profound unease, and Evelyn Cole, beneath her humble disguise, whispers silently to herself, "Soon he will see the truth." This meticulously crafted scene is the dramatic crescendo. The public nature of Vanessa's outburst, captured not just by onlookers but by a hidden camera, creates undeniable proof. Evelyn's role as the vendor allows her to test Vanessa under real pressure, exposing her true character when her carefully constructed facade is most stressed. Ethan's increasing discomfort and his ultimate warning to Vanessa signal a turning point. The blindness of his love is beginning to dissipate. The subtle interactions, Sophie's warning, the staff's whispers, Mr. Chen's unreadable expression, all contribute to the palpable tension and foreshadow the inevitable unraveling. The stage is perfectly set for the final, devastating reveal. The dramatic irony of Vanessa trying to save face while simultaneously digging her own grave is powerful, underscoring the destructive nature of unchecked pride. The morning after the investor visit, Coltec Tower buzzes with a quiet, almost conspiratorial energy. The official word is that the investor visit was a resounding success, a triumph of corporate polish. But the staff, privy to the raw, unfiltered reality of Vanessa's behavior, know better. Something fundamental has shifted. They feel it in the way people avoid eye contact, in the hushed whispers that float through the halls, carrying fragments of a forbidden truth. The moment Vanessa Cole storms into the office, her heels clicking hard against the tiles, an expectant silence falls. Conversations die mid-sentence, desks fall silent. Screens light up as though everyone has suddenly remembered urgent work. Vanessa, misreading the silence, smirks. To her, it is fear, and in her rigid worldview, fear equates to respect. But she remains blissfully unaware that a powerful, silent counter-narrative is already in motion. Two cleaners, their faces etched with a mix of fear and righteous indignation, have already replayed a short video clip captured discreetly on a phone the day before. The clip shows Vanessa shoving the vendor, scolding her like a child, all in front of key investors and, crucially, in front of Ethan. This damning evidence is quietly making the rounds among junior staff, shared in hushed tones, like a dangerous, subversive secret. "She pushed her right there in front of Ethan," one whispers, the incredulity in their voice palpable. "And Ethan warned her," another replies, a glimmer of hope in their tone. "If that woman ever finds out," one speculates, only to be cut off by the chilling realization. She already knows. She was standing right there. The rumors spread like smoke, silent but suffocating, choking the official narrative with the heavy truth. In the cafeteria, Sophie Adams sits alone, scrolling nervously through her phone, her heart pounding as she watches the clip again. She had tried to intervene, had even touched Ethan's sleeve in a desperate attempt to make him see, to register the cruelty unfolding before him. But seeing it captured on camera in undeniable visual form feels profoundly different. It is proof, solid, dangerous, a direct challenge to the carefully constructed reality Vanessa projects. Sophie looks up as Vanessa enters, carrying her lunch tray high like a queen entering her court, utterly unaware of the digital firestorm quietly brewing among her staff. Vanessa drops into the seat opposite her. "You should have seen Chen's face after the meeting," Vanessa says with a triumphant laugh. "He looked impressed. Of course, I handled everything perfectly." Sophie's eyes flick to her phone, the video burning in her pocket. She forces a brittle smile. "Yes, perfectly." Vanessa leans in, lowering her voice, a conspiratorial note in her tone. "Did you notice that vendor yesterday? Clumsy. I don't know why they allow such people near investors." Sophie swallows hard, the truth a bitter taste on her tongue. She yearns to scream, "That vendor was Evelyn Cole, Ethan's mother, the woman you shoved." But fear holds her tongue, a potent, paralyzing force. She has witnessed Vanessa destroy friendships over far less, and the thought of becoming another casualty in Vanessa's relentless pursuit of self-preservation is terrifying. Instead, she offers a weak defense. Maybe she was just nervous. Vanessa rolls her eyes, utterly dismissive. Weakness is weakness. That's why people like me win. That's why Ethan chose me. Her words, though intended as a declaration of strength, cut deeper than she realizes, revealing a profound insecurity masquerading as dominance. Sophie looks at her old friend and sees not confidence, but a growing arrogance that blinds her to the stark realities of her own behavior and its consequences. Meanwhile, Evelyn Cole sits calmly in her modest living room, her diary open before her. She's added new notes, crisp and clear. "Vanessa shoved me in front of investors. Ethan told her, 'Don't touch staff again.'" Her pen presses hard into the page, and a faint smile plays on her lips. The mask, she realizes, is slipping faster than she had ever imagined. Ethan has begun to notice. Soon, she knows he won't need her diary. He will see it with his own eyes, undeniably. A knock on her door pulls her from her thoughts. It's one of the cleaners from the tower, her face a mix of urgency and quiet triumph, holding out a phone. "Mama, I thought you should see this." Evelyn takes the phone, and the video plays. Vanessa's sharp voice, her dismissive hand shoving, Ethan's warning echoing through the lobby. Evelyn closes her eyes, a quiet whisper escaping her lips. "God does not sleep." It's a profound statement of faith in natural justice, a belief that truth, however suppressed, will ultimately find its way to light. Back at the tower, Vanessa chairs a marketing meeting, pacing at the head of the table, her impatience barely contained. She tears into a junior staff member for presenting a slide with a typo. "Do you people want to embarrass me again?" she snaps, her voice raw with indignation. The staff member stammers, "I'll fix it, ma'am." Vanessa's lips curl. "Fix it? You should have fixed it before you brought it to me." She glances at Sophie, expecting her usual quiet support, her silent complicity. But Sophie's eyes are distant, her hands folded tightly in her lap, a silent withdrawal. Vanessa frowns but moves on, her self-absorption preventing her from truly seeing Sophie's growing unease. Unbeknownst to her, at the far end of the table, one of the interns has already seen the video. He watches Vanessa scold her staff and thinks a chilling prophecy. Her fall is coming. That evening, Ethan sits alone in his office staring at the glittering city lights, a silent panorama of the empire he has built. He replays yesterday's moments in his mind. Vanessa's sharp words, the vendor's remarkably calm eyes, Sophie's subtle, almost desperate warning. Something isn't adding up. The pieces of the puzzle, once scattered and ignored, are slowly beginning to coalesce into a disturbing picture. He picks up his phone to call his mother, but stops, a voice in his head whispering, a profound and unsettling question. What if you've been blind? The seeds of doubt have been planted, meticulously nurtured by Evelyn's patient strategy, and now they are beginning to sprout. At midnight, Vanessa scrolls through her social media, a contented smile on her face as she gazes at pictures of herself and Ethan at a recent gala. To the world, she is perfection personified, glamorous, powerful, unstoppable. But downstairs, in the tower's staff quarters, the video clip plays again and again, passed from phone to phone, each replay sharpening the whispers, solidifying the grim consensus. She's finished. Not yet, but soon. The two realities, Vanessa's curated public image and the staff's shared damning secret, are on a collision course. The stage is now perfectly set for the truth to explode into the open, irrevocably altering the carefully constructed world of Coltech Tower and everyone within it. This section masterfully heightens the stakes, demonstrating the pervasive impact of Vanessa's actions and the quiet yet powerful spread of truth through digital media. The video clip acts as an undeniable piece of evidence, stripping away Vanessa's ability to deny or spin her behavior. Ethan's internal struggle, fueled by Sophie's subtle cues and his own growing unease, sets him up for his inevitable confrontation with reality. Evelyn's calm certainty and her poignant whisper, "God does not sleep," underscore the moral weight of the unfolding drama. The imagery of Vanessa's perfect world clashing with the suffocating smoke of truth creates a powerful sense of impending doom, making the audience eager for the climax. The morning of the investor presentation dawns with a charged atmosphere. The air in the Coltech atrium is thick with anticipation, but also with an undercurrent of nervous energy. As investors, directors, and staff fill the room, a palpable sense of unease mingles with the usual corporate decorum. Vanessa Cole stands at the podium, impeccably dressed in her navy suit, her smile fixed, her palms open in a practiced gesture of welcome. She embodies the epitome of corporate success, the polished face of Coltech's future. But then, the unexpected happens. Before we begin, Mr. Chen announces, remote in hand, his voice calm, but his eyes carrying a subtle glint, a short clip on workplace culture. The lights dim in the atrium, and all heads turn to the giant screen. A collective gasp ripples through the room as a 20-second video fills the screen. No music, no commentary, just raw, unedited truth. It shows Vanessa, her voice sharp and loud, a paper cup clattering, tea spilling across the polished marble. It shows the vendor in her green apron kneeling on the floor. And then it shows Vanessa's hand, unmistakably shoving the woman. The final damning audio, clear as a bell, is Ethan's voice. "Vanessa, Don't touch staff again. Ever. The room goes utterly still, a profound, chilling silence that transcends any mere corporate gathering. Phones are lowered, breaths are caught, and the weight of undeniable truth settles heavily upon everyone present. Vanessa's fixed smile cracks, dissolving into a mask of disbelief and rising panic. "Who put that there?" she snaps, spinning around to Sophie, her voice laced with fury. "Take it down!" Sophie, however, doesn't move. Her fingers grip her notepad, her knuckles white. "It's already down," she says, her voice barely a whisper, yet carrying a profound finality. Mr. Chen clears his throat, his composure unwavering. "We care about how leaders act when pressure is high." Vanessa, ever the strategist, recovers with astonishing speed, attempting to regain control, to spin the narrative. "A staged moment," she says, her voice cool and calculating. "The vendor was careless. I was preventing a mess during an investor welcome. That's what leaders do. Protect the brand." A murmur rolls through the staff rows, quiet, nervous, but laced with a growing understanding, a collective validation of their shared secret. Ethan stands in the aisle, his jaw tight, his face a mask of internal turmoil. He hadn't expected the clip either, but seeing his fiancée's actions magnified on a 10-foot screen, stripped away every excuse, every rationalization he had made for her in his heart. The raw truth, so stark and undeniable, hit him like a physical blow. He lifts his eyes to the back doors. They open slowly, deliberately. A woman steps in, dressed in a green vendor apron, her headscarf neat, her steps steady. She carries no tray this time, only her quiet dignity. Vanessa's voice goes cold, laced with contempt. "Security, please remove her. We are in a closed session." But Ethan's voice, firm and commanding, cuts through the command. "Leave her," he says, his eyes fixed on the woman. "Let her speak." Sophie exhales, her shoulders trembling with a mixture of relief and fear, knowing that the moment of reckoning has finally arrived. The woman walks to the open floor beside the podium and faces the room, a picture of serene strength. "Good morning," she says, her voice soft but carrying clearly through the silent atrium. "My name is Evelyn." Vanessa laughs once, a brittle, disbelieving sound. "Evelyn what?" "Madam, you were clumsy yesterday and caused a scene. This is not the moment for—" "Cole," the woman interjects gently, her voice unwavering. "Evelyn Cole." Gasps snap through the atrium like breaking glass. A director stands by instinct, his chair scraping loudly. Mr. Chen's eyebrows lift a fraction, a rare display of surprise. The chairman leans forward, suddenly alert, fully awake to the unfolding drama. Vanessa's face goes blank, then contorted with denial. That can't. Ethan takes one step, then another, until he stands 3 paces from the woman in the apron. His voice drops to a whisper, meant only for the two of them, yet resonating throughout the stunned room. "Mama." Evelyn nods once, a simple, profound confirmation. The silence breaks into a flurry of whispers. Security guards glance at one another, uncertain how to react. Interns press hands to their mouths in shock. The receptionist is near tears. Vanessa's mind races, desperately trying to spin, to smile, to salvage her crumbling world. "We didn't know she was... If we had known..." Evelyn's eyes are clear, holding no anger, only truth. "That is the point," she says. "You didn't know. You saw an apron and decided the heart inside it was small." Ethan looks from his mother to his fiancée, like a man feeling the floor beneath him shift, the foundations of his world dissolving. "Vanessa," he says, his voice tightly controlled. "Did you push my mother?" Vanessa lifts her chin, her pride still fiercely clinging to its defenses. "I corrected a vendor who was about to embarrass this company in front of investors." "Answer the question," Ethan demands, his voice unwavering. She glances at the rows of staff, then at the investors, her voice softening, attempting strategy. Strategic. Ethan, I was protecting what you built. People respect strength. Weakness costs money. Mr. Chen, a man of quiet authority, speaks without raising his voice. Respect is not weakness. A low hum of agreement moves through the employees, a quiet affirmation. Dio, the junior staffer, looks at the floor, ashamed of his silence yesterday. The cleaner who filmed the clip stares at her shoes, her hands shaking, a mixture of fear and vindication. Vanessa's eyes dart to Sophie, a desperate plea for help. Sophie's lips press thin. "Say you're sorry," she whispers, a final, futile attempt to guide her friend. "For what?" Vanessa shoots back, too quickly, too defiantly. The entire room hears it. Evelyn unties her headscarf, folds it neatly, and sets it on the podium. Then, with the same quiet dignity, she eases off the green apron and lays it neatly over the scarf. The uniform, now lying small on the polished wood, looks like a discarded skin. "I wore this," she says, her voice resonating with power, "so I could see how you treat people when you think no one important is watching." She turns to the staff, her gaze sweeping across them. "Many of you knew me only as cleaner or vendor. Some of you smiled, some looked away. I am not here to embarrass anyone. I am here to speak plainly." She faces Vanessa, her eyes unwavering. Leadership without kindness is a fire that burns the house it claims to protect. No one coughs, no chair scrapes. Even the hum of the air conditioner sounds distant, swallowed by the profound stillness. Ethan swallows hard. "Mama?" Evelyn looks at her son, and the room softens around that look. A fleeting memory of market days, late-night sewing, watery pap, a fevered boy promising a future. Then her gaze hardens again as she turns back to the woman who would share his life. Vanessa breathes in, then chooses her weapon, tears. "Mrs. Cole, I'm sorry if I offended you. I didn't know it was you. Please forgive me." Evelyn doesn't blink, seeing through the facade. "You are not sorry you kicked a cleaner. You are sorry you kicked a mother." The words hit like a door slamming shut, echoing the finality of her judgment. A director whispers to the chairman. Mr. Chen types a note on his phone. "Culture risk material." Ethan's face is pale. He looks at the glittering ring on Vanessa's finger, then at the humble apron on the podium, two symbols of vastly different values. "Ethan," Vanessa says quickly, her voice now shaking uncontrollably, "don't let this ruin us. You know me. I fight for excellence. I can change. I will change." Sophie whispers almost to herself, a quiet challenge. "Then start now." Vanessa doesn't hear her, or perhaps cannot. Ethan steps back, as if distance could make the impossible decision simpler. "We'll pause this meeting," he tells the room, his voice steady by sheer force of will. 15 minutes. He turns to Vanessa. "We need to talk." Vanessa reaches for his hand. He doesn't take it. Phones rise again, not to film, but to message, to spread the unprecedented news. "Are you seeing this? It's happening now." Evelyn lifts the apron from the podium and holds it to her chest like a folded flag, a symbol of her mission accomplished. "This is not about your money," she says quietly. "It is about your heart." Vanessa stands alone at the podium, her smile gone, her words gone. The giant screen behind her, black and waiting, a silent canvas for the truth. This climax is a masterful orchestration of dramatic reveal and moral confrontation. The video clip is undeniable proof. Evelyn's perfectly timed revelation and Ethan's dawning realization create an incredibly tense and emotionally charged scene. Vanessa's desperate attempts to spin the narrative, her inability to genuinely apologize, only regretting who she offended, not what she did, underscores her deeply flawed character. Evelyn's quiet dignity and powerful words expose the core hypocrisy of Vanessa's leadership and values. The contrast between Vanessa's reaction, tears, manipulation, and Evelyn's calm wisdom highlights the profound difference in their inner strength. The ending, with Ethan having to make an agonizing decision and Evelyn's final, poignant words, leaves the audience hanging, eagerly anticipating the resolution of this profound conflict. The boardroom door clicks shut behind Ethan Cole and Vanessa, sealing them off from the muffled buzz of voices outside. The investors, the staff, Evelyn herself. Inside, a heavy silence presses against the glass walls, amplifying every unspoken thought, every racing heartbeat. Vanessa's hands tremble visibly as she smooths her skirt, a desperate attempt to regain some semblance of control. "Ethan, listen to me," she begins, her voice softer, more vulnerable than he has ever heard it, a stark contrast to the imperious tone she usually adopts. "I didn't mean to disrespect your mother. I didn't know it was her." Ethan stands near the window, his back to her, staring out at the expansive city skyline. The city glows in the afternoon light, its tall buildings standing steady, unmoving, while his own world inside these walls shakes violently, its foundations fractured by the undeniable truth. "You didn't know," he repeats quietly, his voice devoid of accusation, yet heavy with profound disappointment. "That's exactly the problem." Vanessa moves closer, her desperation growing. "I was under pressure. Investors were coming. I was protecting the company. Your company." She attempts to reframe her actions as a strategic move, a necessary evil for the greater good of his empire. He turns sharply, his eyes dark, filled with a raw, almost wounded anger. "By kicking a woman in the lobby, by shoving her in front of investors, by insulting people you think are beneath you?" She flinches, but her pride, a stubborn, unyielding force, prevents her from collapsing fully. "I was trying to keep standards," she argues, her voice cracking slightly. "You know how much I want us to succeed." Ethan's voice drops lower, laced with a quiet, profound grief. "At what cost, Vanessa? My mother built me with nothing but respect for others. You just tried to tear her down because of an apron." Tears spill freely down Vanessa's cheeks now, not perhaps for the cleaner she kicked, but for the life she feels slipping away. "Please, Ethan, don't throw away everything we've built. I love you. I can change. Just give me a chance." Meanwhile, outside the boardroom, the tension remains heavy, palpable. Evelyn sits calmly in the waiting area, the green apron folded neatly on her lap, a silent verdict in her presence. Sophie sits beside her, biting her lip, her loyalty to Vanessa warring with her burgeoning respect for Evelyn's wisdom. "Mrs. Cole," Sophie says carefully, her voice tentative, "Vanessa isn't always like this. She can be good. Maybe she just lost control." Evelyn turns her eyes on Sophie, her gaze steady but kind, radiating a profound understanding. "My daughter, good is not how someone acts when eyes are watching. Good is how they treat the ones no one sees." Sophie looks down, her throat tight with emotion. She had been Vanessa's friend for years, but deep down, she knows Evelyn is absolutely right. The truth, stark and uncompromising, resonates deeply within her. Investors whisper in clusters, the video clip playing again on someone's phone, passed from hand to hand, a wildfire of information spreading faster than any official communiqué. Inside, Vanessa drops to her knees, her sobs echoing in the glass room, raw and desperate. "Ethan, please don't leave me. You mean everything to me. I'll apologize to your mother. I'll apologize to everyone. I'll do whatever you want." Ethan closes his eyes, torn between the love he once felt and the undeniable truth now laid bare before him. He had seen her beauty, her intelligence, her ambition, the qualities that first drew him to her. But he had also seen her pride, her cruelty, her blatant disrespect for others. Now, these two clashing pictures collide violently in his heart, creating an agonizing internal battle. "Vanessa," he says finally, his voice heavy with the weight of his realization, "if my mother had not worn that apron, you would never have apologized. You would still believe she was beneath you. Do you know how dangerous that is?" Her voice cracks. "I was wrong. I see it now. Please, just one more chance." He shakes his head slowly, his decision solidifying. Love without respect is poison, and respect cannot be forced by fear. She reaches for his hand, but he steps back, creating an unbridgeable distance between them. At that moment, the door opens quietly, and Evelyn enters, Sophie behind her. The room feels smaller instantly, charged with the weight of their combined presence. Evelyn's eyes meet Vanessa's, calm and steady. "You want forgiveness," she says, her voice gentle but firm. "But forgiveness without change is empty." Vanessa crawls closer, clasping her hands together in a desperate plea. "Mama, I beg you, please forgive me. I was proud. I was foolish. But I swear I can change." Evelyn studies her for a long, quiet moment, her expression unreadable, her gaze penetrating. Then she speaks, her tone heavy with years of wisdom, a parable echoing through the silent room. "A proud tree does not fall in one day. It leans, it cracks, it bends, but still it resists until the storm uproots it. You want me to believe you will bend, but I have seen your roots." Vanessa's tears fall harder, the full weight of Evelyn's words crushing her. "Please." Ethan's eyes glisten, but he remains silent, waiting, allowing his mother's profound wisdom to fill the space. Sophie steps forward, her voice trembling, finding her own courage. "Mrs. Cole, maybe this is her storm. Maybe she can change if she loses what she values most." Evelyn nods slightly, acknowledging Sophie's insight. "Perhaps. But change is not words spoken in fear. Change is proven in silence, in humility, in the little moments when no one claps for you." She turns to her son, her gaze softening, but her words striking with the force of a hammer. "Ethan, I cannot make this decision for you, but remember, the woman you marry will raise the children who carry your name. Ask yourself, do you want them to learn pride or humility?" Her words, a mother's ultimate guidance, reverberate through the room, cutting through the emotional chaos and directly addressing the core values at stake. The boardroom is too quiet, a profound stillness that hangs heavy in the air. Ethan Cole stands between two worlds, the embodiment of an agonizing choice. On one side, his mother's calm, steady eyes, reflecting a lifetime of wisdom, sacrifice, and unconditional love. On the other, Vanessa's tear-streaked face, a portrait of desperate regret and shattered pride. His chest rises and falls with the immense weight of a decision that feels bigger than himself, bigger than any business deal or corporate strategy. "Ethan," Vanessa whispers again, still kneeling on the floor, her voice raw with a blend of despair and pleading. "Please don't throw me away. Everything we've built, our future, our plans. It doesn't have to end like this." Her voice cracks, her words dissolving into a choked sob. She reaches for his hand once more, a final desperate grasp at a fading connection. But he steps back, the physical distance between them growing heavy, charged with unspoken truths and irrevocable consequences. Ethan turns slowly to his mother, his face a mixture of pain and profound clarity. "Mama, what do you want me to do?" Evelyn's answer is steady, quiet, almost too calm, yet infused with the deep wisdom that only a lifetime of experience can bestow. "I want nothing but peace in your home. Choose peace, my son, whatever that means to you." Her words, delivered without command or expectation, stab deeper than any direct instruction would have. They place the burden of choice entirely on Ethan, forcing him to confront not just Vanessa's character, but his own values, his own definition of a truly fulfilling life and partnership. This profound moment encapsulates the entire narrative's core lesson. Evelyn's advice isn't about vengeance or condemnation. It's about inner harmony, about aligning one's life with principles that foster genuine happiness and growth. Her wisdom transcends the immediate conflict, offering a universal truth about the foundation of any lasting relationship, or indeed, any meaningful existence. The story leaves Ethan at this precipice, contemplating the enormity of his choice, a decision that will not only define his future, but also reflect the depth of his understanding regarding pride, humility, and the quiet power of true character. The enduring lessons of pride and humility, a call to introspection. This isn't just a dramatic tale, it's a mirror held up to the human experience, reflecting universal struggles with ego, empathy, and the pursuit of genuine connection. The story of Vanessa, Evelyn, and Ethan serves as a potent reminder of several profound truths that apply not just to billion-dollar empires, but to every single one of our daily interactions. One character over status, the true measure of a person. Vanessa's downfall wasn't due to a lack of intelligence, ambition, or professional competence. It was her profound character flaw, her inability to extend basic human respect to those she deemed beneath her. She believed status, wealth, and power were shields, granting her immunity from accountability for her cruelty. This narrative forcefully debunks that myth. It teaches us that true worth isn't found in titles, bank accounts, or designer labels, but in the integrity of one's actions, especially when no one important is watching. Evelyn, disguised as a cleaner, embodied this lesson perfectly. Her humble uniform stripped away all pretense, revealing the hearts of those she encountered. How do we treat the waiter, the janitor, the call center agent? These seemingly small interactions are, in fact, the most authentic tests of our character. Do we see them as mere functions, or as fellow human beings deserving of dignity? The lesson here is stark. A palace built on arrogance will eventually crumble, while a life founded on respect, however humble, stands resilient. 2. The corrosive nature of pride and the blindness of arrogance. Vanessa's pride was not merely a personality quirk, it was a destructive force. It blinded her to the consequences of her actions, insulated her from genuine feedback, even from her friend Sophie, and ultimately alienated her from the very people she claimed to lead and love. Her belief that people only respect strength led her to equate kindness with weakness, a fatal miscalculation. True strength lies in empathy, in the ability to acknowledge one's own fallibility and to lift others up, not tear them down. Arrogance, in essence, is a self-imposed prison, isolating individuals in a gilded cage of their own making, preventing them from learning, growing, or forming authentic bonds. It tells us that when we allow pride to dictate our behavior, we lose sight of reality, making catastrophic errors in judgment. 3. The quiet power of humility and strategic wisdom. Evelyn Cole is the embodiment of humble strength and strategic wisdom. She didn't confront Vanessa with anger or accusations. Instead, she chose a path of observation, of systematic revelation. Her disguise wasn't about deception, it was about clarity. She understood that proud people often wear masks, and to see the true face, one must remove the audience. Her diary entries were not born of malice, but of a mother's profound love and a deep understanding of human psychology. Her parables, her gentle yet firm guidance to Ethan, and her unwavering dignity even in the face of humiliation, illustrate that true power often resides not in shouting the loudest, but in quiet conviction, patience, and the ability to act with purpose and foresight. Humility is not self-abasement. It is a clear-eyed understanding of one's place in the world, a recognition of interdependence, and a source of incredible inner resilience. 4. The indispensability of undeniable proof in confronting blindness. Ethan, like many of us, was initially blinded by love. He saw Vanessa's beauty, ambition, and charisma, and he rationalized away her harsher edges. This is a common human tendency. We see what we want to see, especially in those we care for deeply. Evelyn understood that mere words or accusations would be insufficient. He needed to see the truth, unfiltered and undeniable. The video clip and Evelyn's public reveal served as that irrefutable proof, shattering his illusions. This highlights the importance of evidence in overcoming deeply ingrained biases, whether personal or societal. Sometimes we need a stark, undeniable reality check to awaken us from self-deception or the comfortable narratives we construct. Fative, forgiveness and change, more than just words. Vanessa's desperate pleas for forgiveness, her promises to change, came only when her entire world was collapsing. Evelyn's wise response, "You are not sorry you kicked a cleaner. You are sorry you kicked a mother. Forgiveness without change is empty," cuts to the core of genuine repentance. True change isn't a performance born of fear or self-preservation. It's a profound internal shift, proven not in grand gestures, but in the silence, in humility, in the little moments when no one claps for you. This is a crucial lesson for anyone seeking to mend broken relationships or make amends for past mistakes. Empty apologies, devoid of genuine introspection and sustained effort, are meaningless. Change requires humility, self-awareness, and consistent, quiet dedication to becoming a better person, irrespective of external pressure or rewards. 6. The legacy we choose to build. Evelyn's ultimate challenge to Ethan: the woman you marry will raise the children who carry your name. Ask yourself, do you want them to learn pride or humility? Transcends the immediate romantic dilemma. It speaks to the enduring legacy we choose to build, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. The values we embody in our relationships, in our homes, and in our communities are the lessons we implicitly teach. Do we want to cultivate a legacy of empathy, respect, and kindness, or one of arrogance, entitlement, and dismissiveness? This question forces us to consider the long-term impact of our choices, urging us to choose partners and pathways that align with our deepest values. In closing, this story is a powerful testament to the idea that true success is not merely measured by external achievements, but by the richness of one's character. It implores us to look beyond the surface, to question our own biases, and to cultivate a heart that sees the inherent dignity in every individual, regardless of their role or status. Let Vanessa's fall be a cautionary tale, and Evelyn's wisdom a guiding light. Let us strive to build lives and relationships rooted in genuine respect, profound humility, and an unwavering commitment to kindness, knowing that these are the true foundations upon which lasting peace and meaningful success are built.